John Andrews, CEO, Cimulate. Cimulate is a generative AI technology company focused on commerce. At the core of what we built is what we call Commerce GPT. Commerce GPT is, not a very clever name, but it is what it says it is. It is a GPT model focused on commerce. And what we do is we build a smaller language model based on our customers' data, their internal browse data, their product catalog, but then also, and perhaps more importantly, an enormous amount of synthetic data. Okay, and that synthetic data is based on simulating shopper behavior over our customers' products. And what this does is it creates an enormous amount of data that helps us understand how our customers' talk about their products, how they describe their products, how they choose between their products. And with this data, we're able to build a smaller model that understands how customers choose products. And then we use that to drive product discovery use cases on our customers' digital properties. I started Cimulate, I think, for a couple of reasons. One was my co-founder and I, Vivek Farias, we knew we wanted to do something together again. I think the second reason was more of the timing of it and what the idea was. And that came from a lot of the energy from Vivek. And a lot of the research that he was doing in his spare time and what he was kind of seeing within the market, and particularly around, GPT and transformer models and the impact they were going to have. This is before things blew up in the marketplace, right? This is before, December of 2023 or 2022 when ChatGPT 3.5 came out and it kind of blew up in the public consciousness. And we saw that, it was going to be a really interesting time and we wanted to get ahead of it. Our experience working with Sierra has been amazing, right? I think it starts first and foremost, it starts with the partner that we met initially, and that we've worked most closely with, Tim Galleri. Tim has become a close friend through this process. He's become a mentor, and he's been somebody who has, challenged us along the way in a very positive way to make sure that we're, getting the most out of, the opportunity that we have in front of us. Tim was, I would say, very passionate up front about wanting to be part of this journey with us. And we fed on that passion, and that's why we kind of brought the team in. Second, I think it's important that Tim has a strong partnership behind him and a strong organization that we've been able to benefit from. I think from an individual perspective, and the marketing side was a real thought partner for me before we brought in a talented marketing team. I had somebody who I could kick around some ideas with and helped us in the early days think about what we needed to put on our website and what our core value proposition was. There's the entire CXO community that Sierra has. That early on gave us a number of high-level executives that we could talk to bounce our ideas off of and look for early development partners. Not all of those led to them being full-fledged customers, but we learned from every one of those conversations and some of the introductions that we've received along the way, particularly early on, and super important from a seed investor perspective. Allow us to really hone in on what the core value proposition was, what the core product market fit opportunity was going to be, and to move as quickly as possible in those early days.